My name is Scott Burgess, and I am the owner and founder of Balanced Naturopathics. Couldn't be more excited that you're here. If you follow for the next 30 days what we're about to show you, your energy will go through the roof. You'll have what I call energy like a chipmunk, and more likely than not, whatever you've been led to believe, whether it be an ADHD, an autoimmunity, some kind of cardiovascular issue, it will more than likely reverse itself where you will live a life synthetic free, full of energy and abundance, and to your authentic self. Before we jump in, a couple of reminders here. If you don't mind, please silence your phones or any distractions that's around, because the information that we're about to give you, we're not gatekeeping here. We're literally going to show you step by step what you need to do, how you need to do it, and then how to implement this into your life, okay? So you want to stay to the end as we piece all that together step by step so you can follow along easily without getting overwhelmed and stressed. We're going to talk about that later on as far as what information overload does, because that's essentially what's happening right now in the social media culture when it comes to your health. And then at the end, I'm going to share with you how you can work with me directly and how you can participate in some of the offers, or what we call a path, whether it be path 1, 2, or 3. And then the last is, if you feel like your energy is always in the tank, always plummeted, always low, always down, found the resource that is going to show you exactly how to reverse that and what you can do about it. There is a ton, and I mean a ton, of misleading, false information that's out there, or small pieces to the puzzle where they don't really fulfill what their promise is. They want you to buy product, and this puts it all together in a nice package for you. If you're watching this live, we have two different forms. We have a live and replay. Take notes, okay? And at any point here, you'll see my email at the bottom at support@balancednaturopathics.com. Write an email. Let us know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and some questions that you may have that are particular to you, your family, or someone that you love, okay? Watch all the way through. Make sure that you're watching, because again, we sequentially build this up so you have your aha moment multiple times. So you're actually saying, oh my gosh, I never knew that. Or I was one step away from some of the things that you were doing on your own already, which is fantastic. And then do not forget to book your call with me. Now, on my website at balancednaturopathics.com, you'll see in a big black button on the top and everywhere throughout the website, at any point, you can schedule your 15-minute call with me. We give you a direct path to what the right option is for you. We're not here trying to give you a high-pressure sell. We are trying to provide to you what you need, nothing more, period, full stop. But schedule your call, they book up quick, and once they're scheduled, they're scheduled. And if you miss them, it could be a couple weeks before I'm able to get back to you, so make sure that you schedule your call. How do we restore natural energies in 30 days or less? Phase 1, the 3-pillar body reboot removes hidden inflammation and turns your energy production back on at the cellular level. We're not just talking about stuff that makes you feel good intermittently, or you take a pill or an energy drink, or you eat this one thing. We're talking about waking up, having energy from the get-go throughout the day, and when you need to go to bed, you can go to bed, really fall asleep well, and wake up with a full night's sleep and rest. Phase 2, how to replace synthetic dependency with nature's most powerful cellular fuel, and the secret to blood and why it matters the most. And Phase 3, the daily movement system that locks in your transformation and prevents relapse. Now, here's the deal with daily movement. What our daily movement's about is supporting the evacuation system of the body. So what comes in must come out. So that way it doesn't get stuck and doesn't cause issues down the line. I want to say one thing real quick here. Healing is a marketing term, okay? It's designed to put you in a certain state. Your body regenerates. So we want to optimize your body. We want to make sure that your evacuation system of your body is optimized so your body can regenerate, create fuel, create energy, and create the life that you've been looking for the entire time. Who am I? My name is Scott Burgess. I'm what you call a human performance architect. I'm also an energy worker, and I'm also a holistic health expert, whatever you want to name me, right? The point is, I fix people, and I fix them quick, and I do it really, really well. Remember, if you follow step by step in sequential order what we're about to show you in 30 days or less, you won't even know or recognize yourself at the end of that 30 days. I help high-achieving people reclaim their natural energy, and I've been doing it for over 20 years. I specialize in brain-based therapies, inflammation reduction, and natural physiological restoration. And I have guided hundreds of clients to reduce dependency on medications and return to a synthetic-free life. And that's just not medications. It's synthetic food, it's synthetic vitamins, you name it, anything synthetic, we are moving away from it because those things are silently hurting you. And then brain-based therapies, these are certifications, courses, and credentials that I own and have, and what qualifies me to work with you directly. I know what you're going through. I've gone through a lot of that myself, and a lot of my friends, clients, family are also going through because we're all in the same predicament here. So that you know, I know my stuff. Here's a testimonial from Kelly, who had reversed a diabetic tissue loss issue in 30 days. She was told that her foot may need to be amputated. She tried everything, surgical grafts. She actually had a procedure done, medications, you name it. Then she met me, and she followed to the T, sequential order, what we're about to show you. And within 30 days, and we have proof of this, we're going to show you exactly what it looks like. Her diabetic wound, after being open for 16 plus months after a surgery, finally closed. And no longer is she worrying about surgeries, but now she's living a great life. She's getting better. She's getting stronger. Her energy production, her spice of life is over the top. Next one here, we have Anna. Inflammation vanished, energy return. Anna is a private business owner in the corporate world. She was exhausted all the time. Her joints ached, like literally ached all the time. And her major complaint to me was, oh my gosh, like it just hurts to move. This past summer when I was working with her, she took the entire month of July off. I worked with her for 3 sessions in a row. And then presto, bammo, everything started vanishing. A month later, no joint pain. She was standing up for hours at a time when she couldn't do that before. And she felt balanced. And we're getting into like why I named my business Balance. And then the third one, Dave, the personal friend of mine, he came to me. He had a PSA count that was over 6. And they started talking about biopsies, potential surgery. And I don't know if you know what PSA is, but that's with the enlargement of the prostate. He couldn't urinate that well, where he was standing there for like half a minute before he can even go. So they prescribed him Flomax. Essentially what ended up happening, we put that into our My Deficiencies app. We're going to talk about that later as well. Within 30 days, we took his 6.3 PSA and turned it into a 0.08. No more medications, no more going to the bathroom issues. Completely, all the inflammation in his body completely disappeared. And again, it was just gone. That's how fast this works. If any of these stories are already starting to resonate with you, you can scan the QR code now. If you know someone who needs our help, all we want to do here is give you options and real suggestions that work and that are tried and true. So go ahead and scan that code, book your time, but don't leave. Just get some information out of it, okay? Because we put all this together as real-time information. Let me ask you a question. What do these health challenges and results all have in common? Number one, they're all inflammatory based. The number one reason what causes all these issues is one word, and that one word is inflammation. And what's the resolution to inflammation? Natural detoxing, good food, and positive movement. This is not just, oh, I'm going to clean my food. And there's an order, there's a step, there's a reason when some systems are out of whack, how we need to re-engage them and get them back online versus them being offline so we can get the body moving and grooving again. You right now may feel like this. You feel tired, and even after a good night's rest. You're relying on medications and supplements just to function, which, by the way, are silently harming you. We're going to go well into that one point right there. You're dealing with brain fog, headaches, constant dehydration. It's harder to feel motivated. You're emotionally drained all the time. Even if you have a heightened discussion with someone that you love or someone at work, it's triggering you. It's causing just negative emotions to run rampant throughout your body. And you feel like you've lost control of your health and you wonder if you'll ever get it back again. Sound familiar? I hear this all the time. People feel like they've lost control, like they're losing hope. Here's what everyone has been taught, and this is still preached a lot on social media. We're all relying on quick fixes that mask symptoms. How many times have you seen on a social media post, hey, these 3 things, or try these 5 things, or these are the 2 supplements. I'm telling you right now, okay, because I pay attention to a lot of that. I research everything. I do not do anything unless I have hard evidence, concrete data, concrete science. And the science is really simple. It hasn't changed. These are nothing more than just marketing ploys. We have to be really, really careful about the people who we pay attention to and who we believe. We're relying on prescription medications long term. If we were offered a medication before, it was a short term. Now it's long term. It's lifelong. And that's not how we were designed. We're using caffeine, energy drinks, stimulants just to get through our day. That's home and work. Because here's the thing. You have to perform at work. And most of us are working adults. So we're going from, 8 to 4, 9 to 5 type jobs. But when we get home, there's dinners, there's kids, there's school, there's other home responsibility. We have to clean. There's all these different things. And a lot of people say, I just don't have the energy to do it. And what ends up happening is their work life is successful, but their home life is horrible because it just, they don't have the energy to be able to put into their home. They can't balance it all out, okay? And we're here to help you remedy and fix all of that. And then you're eating healthy, but you're not really understanding what your body actually needs. What's moving the needle for you? What's causing a positive influx of energy versus a negative influx of energy in your body? Rest versus exercise. Exercising too much and not getting enough rest, and vice versa. There's a balance to that. That's why we came up with the daily movement, to make sure that we're getting strong, we're moving and grooving, we're supporting the evacuation system of the body, and we're sustaining our normal, what we call ADLs, activities of daily living, sustainably across the board. Now, here's the problem, okay? These approaches, they're treating symptoms, not root causes. And eventually, all the masking of the supplements, of the energy drinks, of the stimulants that we're using to kind of remedy what we're going through, eventually they stop working as well. And then all of a sudden, we have kind of like the, aha, I'm in trouble moment. I don't know what to do next. That's what we're here to teach you as well, as far as how to avoid that altogether. And additionally, how to create a new habit for yourself as well as your family. I went through this. I went through what you're going through. Not only did I not want it for myself, I didn't want it for my family. I didn't want it for anyone who I knew and I loved and people who I wanted around in my life. I took ownership of everything, extreme ownership. I am obsessed with this, if you couldn't tell. I'm overly passionate. This is all I pay attention to, all I study. And if there was something that I hadn't heard about yet or studied, I would look into it. I would correlate it. I would integrate it. I would find out how it works and plays within the game of life within our chemistry. Because there's only 3 modes to the body. That's structural, that's functional, and that's chemical. So we have our skeletal self, we have our soft tissue, our ligaments, our tissues, our fascia, our skin, our organs. And then we have the chemical side, which is the food, the air, etc. So there's a lot of simplicity to the body, but you have to know how it works together as a unit holistically to make sure that we're doing the right things for it at the right times. If that's happening to you, this is basically what's happening if you're taking stimulants and energy drinks and all those synthetics. You're basically painting over rust. The rust is still there. The fence is still rusty. And we're painting over it. And we're done. We're like, wow, look how nice and new it looks. And look how wonderful. But then eventually you see that little bleed through. And then it bleeds through again. What we're doing here at Balance is we're teaching you how to sandblast all that rust off, get it down to its base, then prime it, then paint it, and then coat it so it has a lasting shine, a lasting shimmer. Make sense? That's what Balance is all about. We're teaching you the right way, the real way, the root cause way to make sure that this does not come back. And if it does, by whatever reasons, you know what to do next. The body is made up of systems, 6 systems specifically. And those systems are nothing more than a bunch of tubes, which is why inflammation is the root cause of why all these systems may, short circuit or not work as well as they should. And that's the glandular system, the cardiovascular system, the eliminative system, the muscular system, digestive, as well as the neurological system. They're all integrated and they all work harmoniously with each other at all times. We talked about the old way. Let's talk about the new way. We want to remove toxins that are creating the inflammation within those 6 systems, like I just mentioned. We want to rebuild those systems with the correct whole foods and natural compounds that the body recognizes and knows how to evacuate from the body. That's why we give it the daily movement that supports and optimizes the evacuation process of the body. What comes in must come out. Restore your body's natural movement You need evacuation pathways. This resonating, this clicking? Personalize everything to your unique biological needs. If you're watching this and you have some questions about that, write us an email, right? Let us know what you're going through specifically. Again, at support@balancenathlopathics.com. The last point here, this is what working with your body looks like, not against it. We're in positive flow with the body, not resistance to the body. The results timeline. This is important, okay? From day 7 to 14, brain fog lifts, hydration improves, inflammation decreases at day 14 to 30, sleep gets way deeper, way more restful, your digestion is stabilized. There's a lot happening at that 30-day mark. That's why we're saying we're going to change exactly within 30 days. We're going to change all this. Energy production through the roof. Incredible mornings. Like you feel like yourself again. But it doesn't have to end there. If you keep going, day 45 through 60, hormones are now regulating themselves again. Your mood, it's completely stabilizing itself. At day 60 to 75, the physical confidence that's exuding from your body, it's easier to move. You don't even remember yourself in the first 30 days, never mind the second 30 days. And then from days 75 to 90, you have a complete identity shift. You're this new person who you're just tried and true in this reimagined person that you became because you got rid of inflammation. You now know how to eat properly. You know how to manage your life on the day-to-day when it comes to energy production. It's incredible, and I can't wait for you to jump into it. How did I figure this all out? I'm going to tell you a dear story of mine, something where, we always talk about how things happen for us, not to us. And if you believe that, which I do, this led me to this moment. My wife and I were young parents, and we're having our firstborn, and she was 34 weeks pregnant, and she was in a hit-and-run car accident. Caused my firstborn to be born prematurely. And she was in the ICU for the first couple of weeks of her life. And everything, she was fine. She was alive, and they were just nurturing her, making sure that she was young, she was small, she was a preemie. And when we got her home, we started noticing things changing. She couldn't hold down food. She was having a lot of allergic reactions. And then we realized during that process when she was in the hospital, before she even had a sip of milk or a sip of water, they put some antibiotics in her, completely reversed her immune system. We didn't know this at the time. So all these issues started happening, from when we took her home up to about 2.5 years old. She couldn't really speak a lot or that well. And my wife made a thesis. I mean, she was absolutely incredible. We visited all these top name doctors, all these renowned people, and spent a lot of money out of pocket. And we were called crazy. There's nothing wrong with your daughter. And we were like, no. So we had to start taking video, really documenting what was going on. And then finally we found a pediatrician who was like, yeah, we see what you're talking about here. And then we found another doctor up in Rhinebeck, New York, who helped us figure out what was actually going on. That moment, I told myself this will never happen again. This will never happen to me, my family, or anyone else that I love. And so I started piecing everything together, as long as with my wife, and which is why, again, we put balance together. So we have been doing this for over 20 years, where we have been piecing together everything that we have learned, organized, went back, studied everything that we needed to know, took conventional allopathic medicine and threw it out the window, and looked at the other ways that made sense quickly. What else that we had achieved and what we'd done that got us to this point? How to consolidate, how to do it as fast as humanly possible with as little resistance as possible, and how to make change and move the needle like that. And that's how we figured it all out. I would love to tell you more. I probably will share more on our community. Very open about this as far as part of our life, because a lot of you may have known people or know people gone through something like that yourself. And I want you to know, you're not alone. You're not. And there's hope, and there's solutions, and there's just areas that we can exhaust to make sure that we don't go down that route. Going back to why you're here, if you haven't reclaimed your energy yet, why not? Some areas that may be stopping you. I've tried so many things, nothing works. I've not seen or been shown a starting place. I'm worried about going off my medications. I don't have time for complicated protocols. The real reason is that you've been burned, or too many people have been burned so many times that you don't know who to believe, what to believe, or who to trust anymore. And if you looked at Google's method, I think it's called like the 7-11-4 rule, something like that. You have to have different platforms, 4 different platforms, 7 pieces of the content, and over 11 hours of watch time or something to that configuration. This is what it takes to get someone to believe in actually what's tried and true. Now, you may have the same thought with us here, but I'm telling you, you give me 15 minutes of your time, and there'll be absolute zero doubt in your mind that we can solve your problem, period, full stop. I mean, this is what we do, what we focus on, and we know how to do it well and effectively. If you're in this group here where you don't know, keep watching, keep asking questions, challenge us. I want you to challenge us. Ask as many questions as you can, because the more we teach, the more you learn, then the better off that you're going to be. And we're willing to give this information away. We want you to get better. We want you to get better. Manipulative narratives often overwhelm you with repetition and urgency to act, to buy something. Now I want to ask you a question here. How many of you just heard what I just said? Think about this for a moment. How many of you just heard what I just said, or are you watching that red swirling hurricane up the east coast of Florida? This is what social media has become. Everybody is distracting you. Look over here, look over here, look over here, okay? How many times have someone went to go research and you end up looking about the temples of Egypt or something like that, right? That's how the rabbit hole that the internet causes. They're purposely, when I say they, the people who want you to buy stuff, they're scattering your focus. And I want you to know that it's not your fault. The system is designed, social media is designed to distract you, to keep you off point, to keep you off focus. Maybe this will work, maybe that will work. All the hope into systems that never prove to work, okay? You need to be able to evaluate your source credibility, review the author's expertise, affiliations, potential conflicts of interest. Now here's another question for you. How many people cannot get through the whirling, twirling funnel and space warp that I'm putting you in right now? So as soon as you think one thing's distracting, here, going backwards, with how much simpler that is versus this. This is what's happening to social media. It is absolutely completely distracting us from where our attention needs to be. And these are the models. And I'm putting these up here purposely. And I'm going to drive this home in just 1 second. We want to make sure that we are using trusted platforms, cross-referencing claims. Key questions you want to ask here. Do you know if the source is peer-reviewed and published in a reputable journal? What about social proof? Now that that's stopped, you can focus on me again. How distracting was that? It's hard. And then here's the last point. Information overload. Information overload. I did this on purpose. Look at this. Look at this chaos. Okay? Conflicting information, stress and overwhelm, symptoms worsen, desperate for answers. How many of you right now feel like you're at overload moment just by looking at this? Look at the woman pulling her hair. It's all designed to make you feel this way, desperate for answers. The last one here, desperate for answers, is the key that people are pushing you toward. I'll just do anything to make it stop. I'm here to tell you that I can look at that all day and not get distracted anymore, because now that you know, you cannot know. And that's why I wanted to teach you this to you right now. Now that you know, and now that you've seen the distraction methods that are keeping you from being healthy and living your optimized life, you cannot know it anymore. So your desperation for answers goes down. Now you can settle. You can take your time. You can do your due diligence. You can do the things that you know that you need to do to move forward. Let's get into it. The 3-phase natural energy ecosystem that we put together. Now in the course, we have a full access course. We go into a lot more detail than this, but this is going to give you some quick 3 points, all legitimate. You can actually implement these things now, and you'll actually see the needle being moved. The Body Reboot Foundation. We remove what is creating inflammation and blocking energy in the body, period. Like, we're going after inflammation. So the tubes and the systems, the 6 systems of the body are all optimized and working together harmoniously. Natural restoration, hydration, and we remove synthetic poisoning and dependency on those synthetics. Many of us have been led to believe that you need to take vitamins every day. You have long-term medications that you've been prescribed for versus, what are the natural solutions for that? And then phase 3, physical resilience and consistency. We want to lock in that transformation for life. We want to make sure that we're giving you a lifestyle you can embrace and use every day. This picture is going to say a lot. There's three different paths that I mentioned at the beginning. There's path 1, there's path 2, and there's path 3. Path 1 is more for just course-based material for those who they need a couple of lifestyle adjustments. It's pretty easy. This need a couple tweaks here and there. Path number 2, you need a little bit more hand holding. You need someone to guide you because you're a little bit more intense of what's going on in your life as far as what your predicament may be health-wise. And then there's path 3, where we call that immersion. Path 2 is called intensive, but we go into immersion where I go to someone's home and we literally go through everything. And this is an example of someone who we just performed an immersion, and this is everything. And you can't even see it all because the picture slightly got cut off there at the bottom. We took all those synthetics, all those vitamins that were called vitamins, but really synthetics, and we put them into an app. We designed an app called My Deficiencies. Now, this is for iOS only right now. If you're an Android user, or let's say you have a flip phone, there are a lot of people going back to dumb phones and flip phones out there. We have a web portal as well where this works very easily. And all you need to do, as you can see here on the left-hand screen, we're typing in medications separated with a comma and a space, and you hit enter. It will provide you a report of what mineral deficiencies are being created in your body as a result of taking any of those synthetics, either by food, either by synthetic vitamins, or medications. And it's going to teach you, or show you rather, what your body's going to feel like after taking those synthetics. It's going to give you an oxidative stress score, how much oxidative stress is occurring in the body as a result of taking those synthetics. A microbiome score, or a gut score, as far as what's going to happen to your digestive system as a result of taking those synthetics. You know exactly what you feel. A lot of people use this app now when they go to the primary care physician's office, and they'll type in the medication and they can now in real time say, whoa, hold on. What do you mean? What is this going to do? If I'm losing too much magnesium, if I'm losing too much CoQ10, or if it's depleting too much sodium, like what's going to happen to my body as a result of that? And what's happening here is this. It's creating transparency between you and your primary care physician. So now that you know what's going to be basically a deficiency in your body as a result of that, and it's a long-term medication, you're going to second think, do I really want to be on this medication? Is there another more natural way? Why this phase is so critical. Your body is overloaded with excessive toxins, creating oxidative stress. Microplastics, what we call phthalates, accumulate inside tissues. Synthetic compounds that your cells don't recognize or know how to evacuate. And chronic dehydration at a cellular level. This toxic overload equals inflammation, and it's equivalent and equaling energy drain. You have no energy left, and this is why and what's happening. And the body reboot clears inflammation, supports mitochondrial repair, that's cellular repair, and restores energy naturally. Here's what people make mistakes with, and here's some of the challenges that you may face. Using synthetic supplements to detox. You're adding toxins to remove toxins. Think about that for a moment, right? You're adding toxins in to remove toxins. Not a good idea. Drinking tainted water, even if marketed as pure. A lot of the pure water, or water that's marketed as clean, has traces of lead in it. And that type of stuff is hard. How do I know? How do I know? And there's ways, there's people that I trust, and going back to those videos that were moving and grooving, like you have to find out and figure out. We can be that resource for you. So go check with Scott, go check with Balance, and they'll be able to tell us who's the best water to drink, or who's the best X to have. Taking medications that anchor the problem instead of solving it. That's a major one. Major. So for example, if you're taking a medication and it's depleting more minerals, what do you think is going to happen inside your body? It's going to create more symptoms, and then it's eventually going to anchor anything that's going to shut it down. I'm going to show you an example of that in just a moment. Not sticking to a regular toxin removal schedule. Majorly important. You have to make sure that you're moving, because the body is made up of like a pump system. So it's constantly pumping blood, oxygen, nutrients throughout the body. It's also removing toxins from the body as well. So if we're not moving and we're stagnant, that can't happen. Now, some of the challenges you may face here, scheduling. There's inconvenience of some of the toxin removal therapies that we would suggest to you, okay? So we have to work those into our schedule, especially for people who travel a lot. Temporary low energy from going from point A to point B. We're going to talk about that one as well, because that one is a major needle mover, and we have some really awesome ways of how to maintain and even increase energy when you're going from a low state to an optimized state. Remembering to drink water throughout the day. A lot of people say, oh, I don't like drinking water. It makes me go to the bathroom too much. I'll give you a case study right now. We had someone who was drinking somewhere between 45 to 60 ounces. I'm sorry, the wrong number, 60 to 75 ounces of water a day. This in the morning time. And we made a couple adjustments, and now they're drinking half of that and they're even more hydrated. Okay. And it's not what you think. It's not just like just salts. So it's even more than that. And then getting support from your primary care doctor. A lot of primary care doctors may not support you in this because they're on the bandwagon of have a problem, take a pill, which means that they believe in synthetics as solving all problems. And that's a problem. That's a real problem. A lot of doctors now are starting to wake up. How do we help you succeed in phase one? We complete the toxin removal protocol annual scheduling, water quality assessment, mineral assessment guides that we offer and give you, medication tapering roadmaps that we work with your physicians with, and we can give you an idea of what that will look like, daily hydration tracking tools and reminder systems, and then community support from others who are on the same journey as you. Here are some real results. Remember we talked about synthetics that were anchoring problems in? Remember Kelly, who in the first part of the testimonials where we're talking about diabetic wounds and cerebral grafts? This is her. She was so skeptical about her toxin removal schedule. It seemed so random and weird. But within 3 cycles, chronic inflammation markers dropped by over 40%. Energy increased notably, okay? And her doctor was actually shocked by the blood work improvement when they got her lab results. Her mineral hydration alone changed her life, and she finally understood what true hydration feels like. Now, here's the first part of that story that I can't really put on a screen, but we can talk about. She was originally diagnosed with hypothyroidism. A lot of people are diagnosed with that, and she was prescribed levothyroxine. If you do the genomic forecasting for that medication, we do a lot of that as well, is you'll realize that from where she started, now she'd been taking that medication for 15 years, it completely shut down her thyroid. What happens when your thyroid shuts down? It causes insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is also known as diabetes. That medication shut down her thyroid, which led to diabetes. And that's what genomic forecasting is. All the insurance companies, they know that once you start a medication and you stick with it and you're on it, especially medications that are prescribed for life, and the levothyroxine is one of them, that they know what will happen next. It's mapped out, it's forecasted, okay? That's scary stuff, but it's real. And I want to bring it to your attention here. Here's the cool part of this story. On the left here, you'll see that's what her diabetic wound looked like when she first came to us. On the right side, this is what her diabetic wound looked like within 30 days. Look at image 1. This is right after that visit. Look at image 8, completely closed. Now remember, if we're looking here at the far left part of the screen, that wound had been open for over 16 months, actually closer to 18 months. That's hard to look at, and this person almost lost a part of their foot, and there was no one in the allopathic medical system looking or trying to guide her down a different path. And so we had to do an immersion with her, and we had to look at everything, okay? And it was also partly this lifestyle stuff because she didn't know. I mean, there's so much information and misleading information out there. A lot of people think the energy drinks are just, the little uppity up feeling. It's not. If you ever saw the preservatives and other chemicals that are in those drinks, they're all bad. All of them. There's not one good. I looked at them all. There's not one good. So if you have any in your fridge, either give them away, have one more, c'est la vie, stop. Okay, because it really causes that much disruption in your body. Now, I circled here in red that within that 30-day time frame, she had a 96% healing rate, which is incredible, okay? And she made hydration adjustments, she made cellular salt adjustments, and she also made a couple of small dietary adjustments as well. We didn't do everything at once. It would have been too much. Would have been too much of a shock to the system. So you can see like where we tapered and guided. So we slowly ramped up. And even those small adjustments are moving the needle and making that much of a difference in someone's life. Now, we didn't talk about this one yet, but here's another client of ours. They had open heart surgery due to a heart attack. Their cholesterol was through the roof. They came to us. They used one of our products. We're going to talk about those in just a moment. She made some diet adjustments as well, and her cholesterol went down to under 200. It's at 141, and that was earlier in the month of October. So Major needle movers, major, major, major. Here's what happens in the first 30 days. Energy's doubling. Now it's doubling going up for energy. Inflammation's doubling going down, and then hydration's doubling going up again. So a couple small adjustments. Again, we work with you. We don't do everything in day one. It's too much. We slowly move you through, guide you through, walk you through, explain all the way through to make sure that you have a full understanding, that you know exactly what to do, how to do it, when to do it, why you're doing it. We're educating you. We're teaching you. This is not just do this and don't ask any questions. We can do it that way, but we don't want to do it that way. We want to teach you to make sure that you fully understand what is happening and why it's happening, because there are people in your life, and this is what's going to happen. They're going to see you and they're going to go, what's changed? What are you doing that's so different? You look incredible. And you're going to be able to talk about it in full conversation with confidence, knowing exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it and the change that it's made in your life. And that's exactly why we built Balance the way we did. Phase 2, natural restoration. So we want to optimize hydration. We've been talking about hydration a lot. Evaluate synthetic supplements and medications and fuel your body with personalized, functional, blood-based, organic whole food. Say that 3 times fast. Okay? Hydration, step number 1. And synthetics. We want to find out, especially with the salts and trace minerals, that has a net positive charge to it. Look at it this way. So imagine for a moment you have a car battery. In that car battery, you have the positive side, which is the red side, and the negative side, which is the black side. If there's too much draw, what builds up on the black side? All that acid, all that like white flaky stuff, right? That's what's happening inside the body. When the body becomes acidic, then we call that illness, disease, symptoms, inflammation, you name it. If it's an even charge, an even pull, then the battery is clean and clear. We don't have to worry about anything. Some tricks that we'll talk about in the community as far as how to get your acid levels down fast. There's some really fast techniques that we can institute into your body right away that's going to move the needle for you. And then step number 2 here, blood-specific functional foods, anti-inflammatory diet, and intermittent fasting protocols. So think of it this way when intermittent fasting. We need to allow the body to defrag. So for those who are like me, I'm 51 years old and my birthday was yesterday. Remember the old defragging for the Windows? You need computers to defrag to clean themselves out. Now we have different systems and different applications of how that works now. The point is, we need the body to be able to relax, to rest, and to reset itself. And that's where intermittent fasting comes in. Some people say, I don't know if I can eat for more than 6 hours, 4 hours. You absolutely can. And we set up a tapering program to lead you up to that. This is where the body begins to restore itself at phase 2, which is the natural restoration phase. Why this phase is so critical. If you have negative hydration and positive synthetics, which means not enough hydration and too much synthetics, you have mineral depletion and loss of function. How do we know? Which is the most important question in the world. We figured it out through the My Deficiencies app. And again, if you don't have an iOS, we have a web portal for those who have an Android or have a flip phone. You can go to our website, balancenaturopathics.com, go into free app, and you'll see Access Web Portal. You can use it right there. Old, as well as new symptoms and compensations resurface, meaning you have symptoms and things that may pop up. Oh, I can't walk up the stairs, my knee's inflamed. That's an inflammatory response. It's not just an injury. A lot of people don't correlate this, but a lot of it is food related and hydration related. Physical stagnation leads to energy decline. So if you're just not moving and grooving and kind of getting things flowing again, that ends up with energy decline because energy needs to move. The body needs to move at all times. You're vulnerable to relapse and re-injury. If you have positive hydration and low or no synthetics, your nervous system stays active and it's responsive. Your symptoms, they disappear at the root level. You build lasting immunity and your energy stays high and consistent. And this is where you have energy like a chipmunk. Liquids that do not enhance absorption. I'm sorry, it's the truth, but I have to make it known here. I love black coffee. I still drink coffee, but it's how much of it that you drink. And that goes for all of these at the same time. Coffee stimulates adrenal, raises cortisol. I'm sure you've heard or seen some of this before. Increases urinary mineral loss. That's really a bad day right there. Black and green teas, tannins and caffeine together is not a good mix. They bind to minerals like iron and calcium, reducing absorption. Alcohol depletes magnesium, potassium, and sodium. Soft drinks phosphoric acid and sugars leads to calcium, magnesium, disrupting the microbiome of the digestive tract. Liquids that enhance and harmonize absorption. Spring or structured water. The body makes its own natural structured water, but in the right environment. So you talked about earlier how we had a client who didn't drink as much water, but she did it the correct way. The result of that was structured water in the body. Warm, pure water, electrolyte-rich coconut water, mineral broths, silica-rich waters, lemon water. Just as a quick example here, you can see this. Take a snapshot, right? Save this for yourself. Why functional mushrooms? Here's the big one. We talked about this a second ago. The one additive. Functional mushrooms are the missing link. They're the missing component to all of this. And the reason why is because every living organism on the planet integrates and participates in, works with mycelium as well as fruiting bodies on the planet, okay? Synthetic supplements isolate compounds that your body doesn't recognize, period. Mushrooms are complete food sources with cofactors that your cells understand what they are and how to use them correctly. And the benefits are almost limitless. Now, there are mushrooms that are not so good for you, but the ones that we're going to go through, we're going to explain to them what they are in just a moment at a higher level. And we're going to give you a resource guide that's going to explain all this to you as well. The benefits are modulating immune function naturally, supporting microbiome balance in the gut, increase your cellular resistance, which means it's going to help you keep foreign entities, high bacteria counts, viruses out of the system, provide bioavailable nutrients to the body that you normally do not get or will not get, and then target specific body systems of the body. Here's how we help you select which functional mushrooms will work with your body well based on what you're looking to move from. The process, you want to identify your key symptoms and your system needs, gut issues, brain fog, low immunity, chronic stress. We want to match the appropriate mushroom stack. Then we want to introduce slowly to make sure we're introducing the slow change and then maximizing that change and then slowing down that change again. So it's just kind of like a ramp up system. And then we want to adjust based on how your body is adjusting, healing, regenerating as we move from day 1 over to day 30. Here they are, the functional mushroom stacks. Now I have all these in front of me right here. We have lock-in, we have REM, we have digestive orchestra, all about movement. And the last one here is hormonal harmony. Now, digestive orchestra is designed for digestion support. Crohn's disease, IBS, you name it, or just bloating, gas, all those factors that need to be considered. All about movement is for all day energy. Lock-in is all day energy plus focus. Now, this one's a fun one because you ever seen the movie Limitless? Bradley Cooper was the lead actor. In there, they have this pharmaceutical called NZT48, which gives his mind all these incredible new powers and access points that he hasn't been able to tap into yet. Lock-in is the real life NZT48, period, full stop. I originally designed it and put it together for children who were diagnosed with ADHD, and it very quickly became a hit within our adult groups because a lot of them have brain fog, ADHD issues, low energy, you name it. And this was a beautiful stopgap from where they are to where they want it to be. So the energy, remember I mentioned this a few slides back, how we have solutions of how to not keep your energy where it was low by raising it up, even from when you're going from point A to point B. Lock-in's how we do that. Then we have REM, which is sleep support, a full night's rest out of the gate. The beautiful part with REM, I'll tell you a quick story about my wife. She started using REM for 4 days, maybe 5 days, and it completely reset her circadian rhythm. Completely. The best part is a lot of people are coffee drinkers, and I love coffee, but I mentioned a few slides back. But REM, because it has magnesium glycinate and valerian root and ashwagandha root and reishi mushroom, those are the stacks. It completely lowers cortisol naturally and resets your adrenal overload every day. So that whole hyper and you feel that tightness here, it completely goes away. And then hormonal harmony, very proud of this one. We put it together for both men and women for obviously endocrine support. On the female side, for those who are pre or postmenopausal, it significantly moves the needle in reducing hot flashes. And that whole I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm hot, I'm cold, that basically goes bye-bye, especially when you combine it with the food that we're going to talk about next. And then for gentlemen who have high PSA counts, guess what? It goes way, way down. And the reason why, because the mushroom blaze eye and mesema combined with cordyceps. Mesema and blaze eye mushroom, especially when they're stacked together, completely support and enhance the endocrine system so it naturally heals on its own. And then cordyceps, which basically acts as a performance mushroom. Every professional athlete that I know about, that I follow, and that I find there's a lot of interest in, has always used cordyceps, and they have been using it for a long, long time. Michael Jordan, for example, being one of them. We're not going to go through all this. I am going to quickly just go through and just talk about Digestive Orchestra in detail, and then I'm going to quickly go through the other stacks. And the reason why is because we have the resource guide that we're going to make available to you that you can download, and you can read all about this. And you'll see here that the stack is agar-agar mushroom, turkey tail mushroom, lion's mane, chaga, and reishi. Now, agar-agar, for those who have not heard of agar-agar, is what they call the elixir of life in Chinese traditional medicine. It's anti-mold, antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral, anti-candida. It's the longest living mushroom out there. It takes over 100 years for it to fully adult and mature. And even when they do take a portion of the mushroom, they only take about 50% of it. And then so they allow it to grow back. It's in what they call an exotic mushroom, and it grows in certain parts of the world, not everywhere. And we include that in Digestive Orchestra. Then you have turkey tail, which is the immunomodulating mushroom, supports the spleen, especially vitamin A. It doesn't give you vitamin A, but it supports the excitation of vitamin A so it does its job within the spleen and the immune system. Lion's mane, both neurogenesis of the mind, and then it acts as a prebiotic. So if you think of the brain-gut axis here, it supports both. So now when you have agar-agar, which is basically wiping out everything that's trying to disrupt your system, whether it be bacterial, candida, viruses, whatever it may be, and then you have an immunomodulator with turkey tail combined with lion's mane that's supporting the mind and the brain. The mind and the digestive tract. Combine that with chaga, which is another reinforcement of the microbiome, and then reishi, which is the pleomorphic adaptogenic mushroom. It's bulletproof. Digestive Orchestra. Here's the results that we get after it. 2 days, longest 3 days after they start taking it. My gas has gone away or gone down by at least half. My bloating, I went down 2 belt sizes. Okay, that's how well it works and how fast it works. And again, we have the worst business model. I joke about this all the time, but this is the absolute truth. We're one of the worst business models in the country, probably. We're not pushing supplements. We're giving you a stopgap, something that you need to get you from point A to point B. And then once you're there, stop taking even our own stuff and rely on food only. That's how well it works. That's our model. So yeah, you may need something to get from point A to point B, but it's temporary. You don't have to keep buying it every month, okay? Because your body will then learn through hydration and food and movement how to do it on its own and how to recreate what these other things externally, they're only there as stopgaps. They're only there to help support us from where we are to where we want to go. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's why we do so well. Our referral business is tenfold. We help one person, 10 people come in because it works so well. We want to now make this available to you. Now I'm going to quickly go through the rest of them. So you have All About Movement, which is all day energy, lion's mane, reishi, cordyceps, shiitake mushroom. Over here on the left, you'll see the stack by stack electrical resonance. Everything has a net positive charge. How is it producing energy? Is it removing energy from the body? That's one thing I'm always concerned with. Lock-in, shiitake mushroom, lion's mane, L-theanine, ashwagandha root. I'm going to go back for All About Movement for a second. You'll see shiitake there at the bottom ingredient, and lock-in for the top ingredient with shiitake mushrooms. Shiitake mushrooms are absolutely incredible. Here's why. They have tyrosinase, which is a copper binding enzyme. In the electron transport chain, tyrosinase is absolutely critical, especially for the oxygen transport and the regulation of iron in the body as well. So trace minerals are absolutely essential. And shiitake mushrooms holds tyrosinase, which aligns with copper. Copper helps offset iron and balances those out synergistically. Remember we talked about the body only has 3 modes. We have structural, functional, and chemical. Chemically, alchemist-wise, you have to have balance between all of your minerals, sodium, potassium, A and D, copper, iron, calcium, zinc. and they all interplay and mix with each other. So that's why it's important to know what ingredients to put in there and why they work. When we get to the next part, when we start talking about food, what all this is going to make complete mind-blowing sense. You're going to have, oh my gosh, why haven't this been around for that much longer? REM, reishi mushroom, valerian root, ashwagandha root, magnesium glycinate. We talked about this, how this helps restore the adrenal glands. We just talked about food for a second. So we have blood-specific nutrition, simple, fast, and repeatable. This is one of our books right here. It literally shows you everything that you need. I don't have these pulled up on the slides yet, but I do want to show you what this would look like. It's a personalized 4-week meal plan. It has an intermittent fasting protocol built inside. We start you off at 11 hours of non-eating, and then remaining time of an eating window, 13 hours, and then we work you up on an 18-hour non-eating to a 6-hour eating window. Eventually, because you'll be part of our community, we will walk you through what a 24-hour fast looks like, a 36-hour fast, and then eventually a 72-hour fast. We want to get to a 72-hour fast. We want to do it carefully and successfully because we want to invite and excite new stem cells to be dropped in the body so we have natural healing going on. Natural stem cells versus synthetic stem cells are an absolute game changer because synthetic stem cells don't work all the time. Natural stem cells work every time, and that's a major difference. And there's a way to stimulate that so you have results quickly and rapidly. Whole food focus that reduces inflammation and that regenerates tissue. Again, I mentioned earlier, healing is a marketing term. It exists because that's how we understand it. But reality is we're regenerating tissue. It's healing through regeneration. Food suggestions and combinations that stimulate stem cell production, energy, and longevity. Look, I'm going to tell you this, and this is the first and probably the last time I'll say this. The whole fitness game, that's old news. Everything today is about longevity, quality of life, ADLs, activities of daily living. Longevity is the long play. There's a whole big push now as far as anti-aging, right? This is the plan. When they talk about, this, you need to take all these different external products. No, we were never designed to take external products that our body does not know what they are or how they work. So it's really important to anchor that in, to understand that. The game is about longevity. We don't need all these lab tests and results. They only work for that moment of time because when they took those results, they took them at that moment. They immediately change as soon as you go outside. They immediately change if you go through a yoga practice. They're not the same. It's only the result of where you were in that moment, what levels of stress you had, etc. Get what I'm saying? The game is longevity. Here's an idea of what our meal plans look like. My wife, there on the bottom, there's me on the left. We have different eating patterns, different eating types. Okay, there's one of our clients up there in the upper right. It's really, really important to understand what we do, why we do, how we do it. Common mistakes and challenges, lack of patience, wrong mushroom blends for symptoms. Some people just buy stuff and hope that it works versus scheduling a 15-minute call with me to help guide you into what you need and why you need it. Wrong dosage amount. Combining foods your body does not know how to digest properly. Some challenges is meal planning. That whole time commitment, especially if you're traveling. We get it, but there are some nice solutions that you can work into your schedule. Mental resistance to fasting. Some people don't think they can fast. Travel logistics that we just talking about. And then cooking for multiple people. We have 6 people in our house, 4 children, 2 adults. We get it. Does it take a little bit more time? Yes. Is it worth it? Absolutely, without question. How we help you succeed in phase 2. Mushroom matching for rhizomatic garden blends. You have a company, we have Rhizomatic Gardens. Dosage protocols and adjustment guidelines. Functional blood-based meal plans and meal prep guidelines. Intermittent fasting protocols and progressions. Travel planning. Family meal solutions within the community. We'll talk and we'll say how do you achieve all this. And then water. How to look for it and how to get it, because not all water is created equal, and that's a big one. It's ongoing support and accountability, the big word being accountability, holding you accountable so you get the results that you want and that we're promising you. Again, if you follow our plan for 30 days minimum, sequentially, you will move the needle and you will see a significant difference. More real results here. Functional blood-based meal plans was a missing piece and didn't even know it existed. I've been eating healthy for years, and that's a big one. I've been eating healthy, what people thought was healthy. The energy stabilized the first time in over a decade once we adjusted how they were eating and the foods that they were selecting for nourishment, combined with hormonal harmony. This was Dave, who had that high PSA count, needle mover completely. This is his actual lab result. His PSA concentration was a 6.13 and went down to a 0.08 in just a little bit over 30 days. Daily movement patterns. The goal is to build a daily movement method that unlocks your body's natural capability. We want to activate the body. So it's what we call an activation reset. We also want to do an injury recognition method. So if we have an old injury, whether it be a knee or an ankle or shoulder or wrist, whatever it may be, we want to recognize in the brain-based therapies where the injury is so the body can then heal itself, okay? And that's a real thing that happens, and we'll show you in the course how to achieve that. And then neuromuscular movement patterns. The body is never designed to do this, okay? You need multi-joint, multi-movement movement patterns. That's what works well, and that's what engages the evacuation system to work so well in an optimized way. And this is the lock-in phase. So again, we're getting rid of the toxins. We're then supporting through proper nourishment of the body, and then we're locking it in by proper movement. That's the three system. Why this is so critical. Your body loses the progress that it's made without daily movement. Old injuries and compensations, they'll resurface if you don't move. Physical stagnation leads to energy decline significantly. And then you're vulnerable to relapse and re-injury if you're not moving every day, okay? Because those joints are not supported. They have to have dynamic strength. With daily movement, your nervous system, it stays active and responsive. The injuries heal at a root level, and you build lasting strength as well as mobility, and your energy stays high and consistent. Energy, like a chipmunk. Now, I've been going on for I don't know how long, and I'm still just as excited to talk to you and to show you and to help you when I first started. You feel me here? You tracking, right? So how this all works in phase 3. We activate your body's nervous system every morning for 5 to 10 minutes to wake up your neuromuscular pathways. The injury recognition method, we identify and we treat subtle injuries and small compensations, especially starting at the feet, that finds hidden pain patterns and then releases them at the source. So we start moving. So have you ever heard of it this way? The foot bone's connected to the knee bone, and the knee bone's connected to the hip bone, and the hip bone's connected. See where I'm going? So every joint affects the next joint above it or below it. And if one of those joints above or below is not moving well, it absolutely will affect the next joint. Think of it this way. You have a car. In the caliper where the brakes are, they squish this when you give pressure in the gas line to squeeze the rotor. And that rotor will then, combined with the brake pad, will stop us. If the pins on the caliper on, let's say, the driver's side front are not working or they're a little sticky, right? That puts more pressure on the passenger front and then the rear brakes, leading to those brake pads wearing out a little bit faster because something wasn't moving or was stuck. And that's an example of what that looks like. We talked about the 6 systems of the body. Here's what they are: circulatory, muscular, eliminative, nervous, digestive, and glandular. Now, if you go to the right-hand screen here and you look at the 6 regulatory brain centers, you'll see up the spine, right above C1, you'll see a G on the outside closest to the ear, and then you'll have an E, then an N, then a D, then an M, and a C. On the back side of your, what they call the occipital ridge, that's where all those systems are. So simply by touching, or what we call palpation, you can tell if one's inflamed, if one's stuck and stagnant, just by touching and feeling, okay? And this is part of one of the techniques that I had learned and I became very fluent in, which is the zone technique. And it's working with, again, when we talked about brain-based therapies and nervous system regeneration, this is where all this comes from, okay? And this is just one example of that. The activation reset, we want to activate different zones of the body to enhance and excite neuromuscular pathways to make sure that the body's awake, just like a light switch. We want to turn it on. So if you're just sitting there stagnant and try to get up and move real quick, think of it like an elastic band. If you pull the elastic band right away, it's going to snap and break. But if you give it a couple, pulls and releases, it can actually go farther quickly just by giving it a little bit of tension, release, and working its way slowly. Then we have an injury recognition method where we're recognizing old injuries or even new injuries, and we're allowing the body to heal them naturally through natural regeneration models where they don't become a long-term issue for you. And then neuromuscular movement patterns. Here on the left-hand side, you're going to see the skeleton where it's moving at the ankle, and you see the knees and the hips. Little motions affect different motions along up the kinetic chain, vertically, up and down. And then what I'm doing in the middle image here, we're just showing you how everything works skeletally and then functionally. Remember, there's 3 modes of the body: skeletal, functional, chemical, how it all integrates together. And then there's me on the right where I'm swinging a mace bar, and that's putting together the combination of both breathing, movement, muscle. Okay, and this is one example of a full body, multiple movement patterns as far as how it's structured together, what it looks like. And again, just a nice example of what everything would look like together in one pattern. Okay, so the single arm I'm doing right there. Then there's a double arm I was just doing. And again, this is just one model. Common mistakes and challenges in phase 3. Skipping daily routines. I don't have time. Thinking that you need really expensive equipment. You don't. I have a mace bar and a couple kettlebells, and I'm good. And that's at best. If you notice back in the video here, I have a hill going up my driveway. I use that hill all day to my advantage, and it works exceptionally well. And then improper technique. When your technique starts breaking down, you're done. So if you can go for 40 reps successfully, go for 40 reps. If your technique breaks down at rep 9, stop doing it. It's real simple. So if you can't maintain technique, and I understand the whole push through, I get it, and I would definitely applaud that. But if you're breaking down technique where it's potentially going to lead to an injury or an overcompensation, don't do it. Challenges, finding motivation to move every day. Look, I will motivate your ass in less than a New York second. Again, I have energy like a chipmunk, and I want to see you succeed. And that is my power, my emphasis, I guess my special gift is I know how to motivate people to get them moving and grooving and doing things that they may not be wanting to do them for themselves. Uncertainty about proper technique, just move. Your body will autocorrect on its own. I love watching videos where someone says, you really want to pay attention to, no, just move. When you were a kid, when you were first born, when you started to learn to walk and learn to crawl, was there someone teaching you technique? No, you crawled, you figured it out. You walked, you figured it out. You fell on your ass and you figured it out, right? Don't worry about proper technique. You already know what to do. Just have confidence and show up for yourself. That's it. That's all you need, okay? Changing deeply ingrained movement patterns, or don't feel like you have the confidence to be able to do something. Just do it. That's why Nike became so popular with that term. Just go out and do it. I promise you, if you start, your body will show up, period. How do we help you succeed? We give you a step-by-step video instruction. We have a beginner, an intermediate, and an advanced mode inside the full access course. There's minimal equipment recommendations, and we also provide you alternatives as well. There is some technique, tutorials that are in there as well, as far as how to get going to make sure that you start off safe, and some form checks, okay, just so you have a point of reference. Progression frameworks as you get stronger. So we're walking you through, you're getting stronger, you want to move up. You're getting stronger there, you want to move up. Accountability and consistency tracking. That's where the community comes in. That's where we're going to be motivating each other and helping each other out. Troubleshooting for pain, injury, and compensation as well. Most people don't have the mental discipline to do it on their own. They just don't. And this is where you have to self-assess yourself or self-audit yourself, where you're like, do I really have the mental ability and acuity to do things on my own and hold myself accountable? If you're here, and I'm just being honest with you, most of you are probably going to say no. It's not hard. It's not difficult. You just have to show up, and you have to be honest with yourself. And we're going to talk about inside the community about how do we get past some of those things as well. But one of them is journaling. Journaling is a big one. It's not the only one, but it's a big one. Some more results here. We talked about Anna before. 15 years of chronic pain. She was moving 20 minutes daily, and in 3 weeks, vapor, gone. Doesn't exist anymore, right? She followed the protocol, the planning, the sequence, whatever you want to call it, in 30 days from where she started to where she was. Remember, this woman couldn't stand for more than 30 minutes. She was standing for hours by the time we were done. And that's how fast it happened. It happened in less than a month. the complete system, all three phases working together. So phase one, we're removing the toxins. We're just anchoring this in again, removing the toxins and inflammation, which is your reboot foundation. Two, we're rebuilding with whole food nutrition, natural restoration. Phase three, rewiring your movement and locking it in with physical resilience. The complete system is all three together. Complete, permanent energy transformation. This is the natural energy journey. Understanding blood, understanding hydration, step two. Understanding supplementation, organic whole food and mushrooms, and meal planning for all, step three. Go. Done. That's how simple it is. It's a simple path. But again, you have to know what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And that's where our community comes into play. It shows you step by step what to do and how to do it so you succeed. I've already done this. The people that I love have already gone through this. The testimonial, then the people who gave you their version of this already showed you that it can be done. And it's all you need to do is just commit. That's it. The course and blueprint. It's a step-by-step system that restores your natural energy at a cellular level. It's not a quick fix. It's not one of those things where it's a one-hit wonder next, supplement or biohack that you want to try that you think is going to work. We're working from the ground base, and we made it so simple. All you need to do is follow along, stay active and accountable inside the community, and in 30 days, you won't even recognize yourself. In 60 days, you won't even recognize that person at 30 days. And at 90 days, you won't even recognize the person at 60 or 30 days. That's how confident I am, how much I believe in what's going on. All right. But again, I'm just too excited about it because we've been putting this together for so long. And we've had so many unreal just results that I didn't imagine could come about. I was like, oh my gosh, this has to work. This is going to work. So again, and I'm so excited that you're going to be able to jump in and participate in this. Removing inflammation, restoring hydration at a cellular level. Rebuilding cellular energy with whole food nutrition and functional mushrooms. Lock in energy through daily nervous system activation and movement. Personalized support, guidance, and plan adjustments that your body needs and that it wants so it can heal and regenerate itself. Now, if you're in, there's a QR code. Schedule your 15-minute call. I'll be there with you. Now, here's the gig, right? You're getting me. You're going to be speaking with me for 15 minutes. We're going to do this quickly. We're going to do it accurately, and we're going to do it thoroughly. You're not going to get someone that I hired. You're not going to get someone who doesn't understand what's going on. You're getting me. You're going to get the best. I'm committing to you. Because I'm committing to you, I'm asking you to commit to me. Put all your distractions away. Come into that phone call with all your questions, what you're nervous about, what you're excited about, and what you're looking forward to. All of it. So we can get it done together. Okay. I'm going to guide you with what the appropriate path would be for you, whether it be path 1, path 2, or path 3. And we're going to accomplish what you want. Period. Full stop. Schedule your call. You're getting me. I'm worth your time. Trust me. We use Calendly. We keep it really, really simple. So you have got to commit yourself. If you have some other commitment, find someone to help you. Give me 15 minutes of your time and I will give you your life back. Find a way. If it's that important to you, you will find a way. It was that important to me when my daughter was in the hospital. I found a way. My wife and I, we found a way. You were asking for 15 minutes of your time. Find a way. It's only 15 minutes. Find a way. I understand how you may feel. Many have felt where you are, okay? And here's how we guide you through all this. Common objections. I don't have time for all this. This sounds too complicated or technical. What if I can't donate blood regularly or get rid of toxin removals regularly? Right? I'm worried about going off all my medications. 15 to 30 minutes daily plus meal prep equals less time than you spend managing fatigue and doctor's visits. It's all a step-by-step guide. Follow the sequence. Energy returns every time. Follow the sequence. Your energy returns every single time. Every single time. That's how confident we are. We gave you 3 different distinct examples as far as a testimonial. I even gave you a 4th one that was in there just as a reference point. Diabetic wound, healed. within 30 days after being open, almost having their foot amputated because it was open for close to 18 months. PSA counts, biopsies, potential surgery, okay? Then someone whose joint pain was so accelerated, it was debilitating to them. All gone, 30 days. They're still going now, and they're just like, they can't even consider going back to the old ways. Then we had the fourth one there who had the open heart surgery, who had a heart attack, and the cholesterol and the energy is through the roof, even after having all that happen, okay? If you're saying this won't work for my situation, here's a fifth, right? Angela, age 44, corporate executive. I travel too much for work. I have a stressful job and have no time for meal preps. We don't suggest meal prepping, by the way, unless it works for you. We suggest cooking a meal in real time for that day. There are meal prep options that we are working on that we'll talk about that will be coming down the line later on. I've been on medications for 10 years. I have chronic pain and I can't exercise. I've tried everything. These are some of the examples or comments that are running through your head. Let's go through the other side. Her results after 2 months, completely off all 4 medications, energy levels stable even when traveling, chronic pain reduced by 95%, meal prepping and knowing how to purchase food when you cannot meal prep or when you have time to cook that day. That's a massive one. You'll be able to know what is good, what's not good, what you need just by looking at the food, going to a store, regardless of wherever you are in the world, whether you're not traveling or traveling. I can't tell you the value alone in knowing how to purchase food based on your body, what your individual needs are. And then daily movement routines that take maximum up to 40 minutes, minimum 10 minutes, right? But she does it 20 minutes a day. If it worked for her, it can work for you. I'm telling you, it can work for you. I have 4 children. My wife and I, we are constantly moving, constantly moving. One of the main reasons why I absolutely refuse to give up what I'm talking about here in balance, which is something I practice every day myself. I don't want to give up this level of energy. I love being high on life and having all this energy all the time. It's absolutely incredible. Wouldn't you want the same thing for you? That's what this is all about, okay? Mindset shifts, okay? I need my medications to function. I'm too far gone to recover. Blah, blah, blah. Right? You're not. I've seen the other side of it, okay? I understand where you're coming from. I do. And I feel for you. And I don't want you there. I want this more for you than you probably want it for yourself. This is going to take too much time and effort. Look, let's get to the good stuff. My body can heal naturally given the right tools. Energy restoration is possible at any age in any situation. If you invest 30 minutes daily, just 30 minutes daily, imagine the change that can happen over 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days. Okay, because this is not just like a 30-day thing. This is a lifestyle adjustment. I haven't tried the system before. You're going to jump into this course, or whether it be intensive or immersive with me, you're going to go, I can't believe I haven't lived this way my entire life. The system, we adapt to your specific situation. Here's my gift for you. We talked about I'm too far gone. I can't recover my energy, but the mindset shift. Failing is the Secret is one of my favorite all-time books by Neville Goddard. And what I did was I downloaded the audio and I made it into a downloadable file. Now, one of the things that I do is I download an offline music player, whether it be for iOS or Android, whichever one you prefer, but download that. It's on a Google Drive. It's my gift for you for showing up today. Thank you for being here and enjoy the book. I've listened to this book, I would say at this point in my life, at least over 50 times. Every time I listen to it, I learn something new, or it anchors in something that I needed to hear that day. It's an absolute incredible time investment for you. It's our gift to you. Thank you for showing up, sincerely. The cost of doing nothing. This is going to hit home for some of you. I'm not sorry for putting this up, but this is something that we have to talk about. Doing nothing is the one choice that guarantees that no thing will ever change. If you decide to do nothing or decide that you can do it on your own, you're setting yourself up. I've seen it way too many times. I'm just being honest. And I want this more for you than you want it for yourself, probably. And if not, if you're already scheduled your time, thank you. We're going to make it happen. Start down at the bottom left, medication and supplementation. That ranges from $2,500 to almost $10,000 over a 2-year period. Lost productivity, low energy days. there's up to 180 days per year. Okay. People calling out sick, absenteeisms, the emotional cost, feeling disconnected from yourself, emotional roller coaster, up and down, able to handle this disagreements in the house or at work because it just triggers you off. Physical cost, inflammation, compounds over time, absenteeism. Again, it's just another way of absenteeism from the physical, not just like low productivity side. Doing nothing is not net neutral. It has a cost. If you're not moving the needle, you're not moving the needle. You know what I'm saying? It has a cost. Everything has a cost to it. I'm going to tell you a quick story here. There was a podcast out there with a gentleman. His name was Dr. Perlmutter. Pearl and then Mutter. He was talking about uric acid and fructose. And in that podcast, he talked about how now we've already surpassed this number, but by 2030, 50% of America would be considered obese. Now, we've already well surpassed that number. But the thing is that if you look at obesity, it has a direct correlation to autoimmunity, and autoimmunity has a direct correlation to the big four. So if you're in the obese range, and this is not a scare tactic here, this is just the truth. Again, like we preach truth here. So now that you know, you can't unknow, is that you have the obesity that's directly correlated to autoimmunity. It's a 1-to-1. If there's an obesity issue, there's an autoimmune issue. That autoimmune issue goes to one of the four horsemen: Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, or a cancer, period. Peter Attia wrote it in his book, Longevity, and it's anchored in. So that is something that you need to consider. So if there is something going on in these charges and bills, the number one leading reason for bankruptcy in the United States is due to medical costs and medical bills. I think it's like over 72, 73%. The leading reason for that. So medical bills and charges are the leading reason it's a theta star, because people are like, oh, I'll be fine. What you tolerate, you get more of. So if you're tolerating obesity, then you're leading to autoimmunity. If you're tolerating autoimmunity, then you lead into one of the four horsemen, and that compounds over time with medications, doctor's visits, low energy days, lost productivity, physical cost, all that stuff. This is the cost of doing nothing. Okay, let this sink in, let this burn in. All you need here is to put everything together. You need the complete system, the complete ecosystem we put together. We made it so simple for you, okay? This is not trial and error. The order of the system makes the results predictable every single time. And it's not just something that, oh, I'm going to do it now and then I'll let it fall off. This is a lifestyle change that will happen and that will anchor in. This will be the new way of how you approach, how you eat, how you move, and how your energy is produced within your body. Here's what's happened next, okay? If you want personalized guidance, implementing this system the balanced way, okay? The next step is to book a free energy breakthrough strategy call with me. It's going to take about 15 minutes. We're going to go through, we're going to assess your current health situation, energy levels, identify your biggest obstacles and the root causes of what you believe that led you to the point how you got there. Map out a personalized plan for you and suggest what path would be the best option for you, okay? And determine if our program is the right fit. Okay, this is not a hard pitch or a hard sell. Remember, you're getting me, you're not getting some kid that we hired or some person who doesn't know the systems as well as I do. This is not a high pressure call. This is a genuine strategy call with you, for you, to determine if, one, you're a good fit, and then two, what path is appropriate, path 1, path 2, or path 3. We only have limited spots available. Truly, we only have limited spots available. And here's why. I can only accept 20 new clients in path 1, which is the course, 10 new clients in path 2, which is intensive, and 2 clients in path 3, which is immersion. This is so personalized and so high level and so specific and so direct. I want everyone to get what they have paid for and what you should expect from me and what I'm expecting from you. This is a fair, fun, just like go all in exchange, okay? I want to teach you everything. I want you to embrace this. I want you to be able to ask openly, not just to me, but the community as far as what this is, why it works, what struggles you may be having, because this is how change happens. This is how change anchors in. Schedule your call. They fill up quick. They fill up really, really quick. And I've said that multiple times. I can't stress that enough. So if you haven't scheduled your call yet, schedule your call. Just do it. The other thing is I also give 2 spots for those who do not have the financial resources at all, who are in a pretty tough financial space, and they need help. Okay, so that's another reason why I'm asking for everyone to go ahead and make their call so we can get you in the right spot, because I have to give some spots for those people who do need it. And it's the right thing to do. It's how we give back. That way they can pay it forward in their own lives, their own families. And I would hope you do the same thing. Book your free energy call. The only people who should book this call, and this is very important to me, so please take this, I don't want to say seriously, but take this at heart, okay? The only people who should book this call are those who are ready to follow the sequence. If you're not ready to follow the steps, please don't take one of our call spots. Some people really, really need my help and guidance. These are for people who are ready to change and who need medical intervention, not just curiosity or want to learn a little bit more and they'll get back to me. I'm looking for people who are ready. So if this is you, book the call. If you're like on the fence and you really don't know, don't book the call. I'm not going to be heartbroken here. You'll come back when or if you need our help. And that's just it. Imagine your life in 1, 3, and even 6 months. You're going to wake up energized. You're excited for life. You're ready for the day. You're ready to just take everything on. You're off all your medications. Or significantly like reduce dosages as you're working towards or down that path. Mental clarity like you've never even imagined before. Again, like you've seen me go here, and this is just me by myself in my studio recording this for you. And I don't even think I've dropped a little bit of energy yet, which is awesome, right? You're going to feel like yourself again, vibrant, capable, alive, living the life that you've forgotten about. This all becomes possible when the right conditions are met and restored. If you just need the right tools. If I went to go, take off a tire on a flat tire and I didn't have the right nut, I couldn't get the screws off, the bolts off. You can't change the tire, right? You need to have the right tools. Balance is the right tools. It's the right tools. All right, so finally here, your questions answered. So how long does this take? So you've seen the timeline starting from 7 days all the way up to 90 days, and you've seen that map. And it's pretty clear as far as what you can expect for results. Now, do I have to quit all my medications immediately? The answer is no. We're going to go through that together, and we're going to give you the assessment of what they're needed for, what they're doing in the My Deficiencies app as far as what they're doing in the result of depleting minerals from your body. And we're going to work with you so we can give you the support that you need to work with your primary care physician. What if you're a vegan or a vegetarian? Not a problem. That's an easy button for us. Is this safe? Of course it is. It's just whole food and it's functional mushrooms and it's movement patterns, but it's all sequentially put in order that works with your body in a nice timing sequence. And that's the difference. That's the big difference. And can I do this with a full-time job and kids? Of course you can. I have a full-time job. I have children. Everyone who comes to me does. And if they don't have children, they have grandchildren, they have someone who they're responsible for. It's all achievable. So go ahead and schedule a 15-minute call. I can't wait to speak with you. In the meantime, if you want to keep up with us, go to balancednaturopathics.com. You will find all of our socials there. Our email is support@balancednaturopathics.com. And thanks for your time. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon. All my best.